You've heard us talk about them. They're in, and they're on the website.
Absolutely. Our brand new America's Diesel podcast, branded bills, badass, flex fit, performance material, sweat stain resistant. It literally feels like it cools your head.
I don't know how that's
amazing.
possible, but somehow it is. Yeah, you can rock it. You know, I'm more of a flat bill kind of guy. You can do that. You can curve it. For all you taco holder guys, you can even throw that in there.
Yeah.
And then snap back with a little bit of the flex fit.
Yeah.
Big head approved, small head approved.
And it's extremely comfortable. I almost guarantee, I say almost guarantee. No, I guarantee this is the most comfortable hat you will ever wear. And the logo, rubber, awesome.
Yeah.
Came out great.
Super detailed rubber on there, so it's never going to fade on you. If you want to get one of these in your hands, they are $50, shipped to the lower 48, plus tax, if applicable in your state. Just go on the dieselpowerproducts.com, search hat, look for the fantastic Jam and Eagle logo, pick yourself up some before they're out of stock.
Yeah.
You're listening to America's Diesel Podcast. Yeah.
So
one duck-sized horse or 100 horse.
Horses.
No.
100
Yeah.
duck-sized horses.
One horse-sized duck, so a giant fucking duck.
Yeah.
Or 100 duck-sized horses. Think about how many.
Dude, I'd be freaking kicking
Yeah, think
duck-sized
about how many
horses
times you
like,
could punt, right?
woo! See ya! See ya!
But like one giant duck, like that beak.
Dude,
That's your
they're
torso,
quick.
man.
They're quick.
And think about-
and it's strong.
Think about a duck that's like as tall as a fucking Clydesdale, right? Look at it. Think of its feet. Whoop, web foot your
Dude,
face
they-
and curb
they-
stomp you, man.
They catch fish with their beak.
Yeah,
Like that's
normal
quick.
sized.
Like I can't catch a fish with my hands. Like their reaction, like they're
Their beak,
they'd tear
their
you
beak
up.
would be this long.
Yeah, dude, I'd be
That's
kicking horses,
It'd
dude.
be like 8-9 inches wide.
I'd be seeing how far I could kick those Clydesdales.
Yeah, those little mini,
Just a little,
cute little horses. Just decimate
I
them.
feel so bad. They're like, oh, dude, I want to. I'm completely serious about this. I want a donkey. Is that weird?
Donkeys are cool, man.
I don't know what like the community standards are for
Mhm.
like. Is that considered livestock?
Yeah.
Donkey.
Yeah.
Burtle.
Bruh.
Dude, I don't know. It's something about donkeys. Like I like donkeys better than horses. I
I've
feel like
always
they're more.
wanted a
I feel
horse.
like they're like a more like utilitarian type of
Oh yeah.
animal.
Yeah.
This is what I've heard.
Who's a
This is what I have zero donkey knowledge other than they're called a burl.
Yeah, we're on the street. Mark, what are your current zoning laws as far as owning livestock where you live?
I live in a rural area, so people have donkeys. People
Okay.
have horses, cows,
Just have 'em
sheep,
all.
goats.
Yeah.
Is that better?
There we
you
go. Like,
Literally, like, gotta be right on.
yeah, and it is directional. So, like, if you talk to the side of this, it's not going to pick you up as much as if you actually talk directly into the urethra of that dick. You just got to be like right into it. All right, now we got that icebreaker out of the way.
Just do the intro. Edge Products is an absolute powerhouse when it comes to aftermarket vehicle performance.
They have tuning, intake, and exhaust packages for just about any year, make, and model of truck, making it really easy to wake what you have up and get you moving better on down the road.
And also monitoring with their Edge Insight series, probably the best monitor on the market.
Yeah, and if you've got stuff on the truck you want to monitor that maybe your stock PCM isn't, they have their EAS system, expandable accessory system, which allow you to add in just about any sensor to any temperature or pressure you have on the truck.
Yeah, and especially for you new truck owners out there, one of the most popular add-ons to do is a throttle sensitivity booster, which will drastically improve the drivability of your truck and get you feeling like you just added 100 horsepower without adding nothing at all.
So hell yeah, Edge, keep making great products, and thanks for sponsoring the show.
Woo!
Hey everybody, this is Ben, Tyler, and Mark from Edge. Say hi, Mark.
How's it going?
Okay, that's enough. Quiet down. You're listening to America's Diesel Podcast, brought to you by Diesel Power Products and the other sponsor for today, which is
Edge Products.
Woo! On Cue. Very nice. You can find us on all social media and podcast avenues by searching America's Diesel Podcast. Also, make sure and check out our Facebook group. There are 3 questions you have to answer. There are many right answers, many wrong answers. I approve and deny everyone. Right now, it's about a 66% approval rate, keeping those bots out. and maybe people just don't answer questions to my liking. If I decline you straight up, that means you failed. If I decline you and maybe ask you to provide more detail, it's because maybe you didn't give me quite enough answer. Like one of
You are strict with that.
I am. One of them. One of the questions is, what type of breeches do Duramax owners wear? And one of them just said khakis. And the other two answers were not quite descriptive enough. So I asked them, I was like, could you provide more
we
detail?
talking like Dockers or
I know. Maybe they're skin tight khakis that are flared on the bottom with rhinestone hearts on the ass. That would work.
That would work.
That would work. What if they're just like normal pleated,
Khakis.
normal pleated
They're
khakis?
probably doing the State
Yeah.
Farm. Yeah.
Well, then they need to put in parentheses
State
no,
Farm.
Jake
Then
from State
that's-
Farm
then
khakis.
You're in.
Then that's a joke. Now it's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Now
Now
you get
you're
our
in.
humor. But
Yeah.
if you just said khakis, I ain't got it, man. If you answered khakis and you're actually listening to this, I did fully decline and ask you to put more detail in there. So please respond with more detail if you're actually listening. But so far, people that I have declined, no one's ever reached back out and be like, dude, what the heck? So
Because they're probably thinking you're the bot.
maybe. But yeah, make sure and check out our Facebook group. We have lively chats going on there. Tyler reviews.
Oh, yeah. Keep those reviews coming in. Leave your 5-star review on any of the podcast platforms that you listen to. Screenshot that review. Send it to podcast@dieselpowerproducts.com. Make sure to include a picture of your truck and an address that we can send a decal to. It looks just like Mark's new hat.
You can put it on if you want. I promise. It's yours. It's not,
It's
it's
gonna
not
be
a
the
rental.
okay. Before, do you wear hats?
Occasionally.
Okay. Before you put that on, I want you to kind of zero yourself, all right?
Yeah.
And go into hat critic mode. Okay. That's going to be, I can almost guarantee you, the most comfortable hat you've ever worn. Change my mind. Prove me wrong.
What size fitted hat do you normally wear? Oh, straight on.
Nice.
Not even adjusting the size
Yeah.
on it. That fits good.
That'd be 7 1/4.
So, okay.
All
You're about right then. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. First
Feels
impressions.
nice. I like it.
It's nice, isn't it?
Nice and cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that material,
Yeah.
baby. That's that material.
It is straight. Dude, I'm telling you, this hat's made of like unobtainium.
I don't know what it's made of.
My
I
hat.
can look at the tag. But
My hat was almost gray this morning from dust because I wore it when I was cutting the header panel on my excursion over the weekend,
Yeah.
and I used a baby wipe and cleaned it.
Yeah. I haven't cleaned this hat. Look,
I'm sure they're magic, man. Let's just get, if you need parts for diesel pickup, make sure and check out dieselproducts.com. If you need Edge parts for your pickup, make sure and check out dieselproducts.com because we love Edge.
we do love Edge.
We do.
We've been selling Edge since the beginning of time.
Yeah. Beginning of time.
The beginning of time.
And if you know, Tyler does have an Edge Easy X on his truck that
Yeah.
he currently is stoked on.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
Man, you are a lively one. If you guys don't know, you've never been on the podcast. I don't know, Mark. How do you feel so far?
So far, so good. This is my first podcast. So
It's kind of weird, right? It's
a
kind of
little different,
Yeah.
but
just boys having a talk.
yeah, absolutely. But it's good to be on the show versus just listening to the show or watching the show on YouTube.
Yeah, right on. I gotta ask you, how'd you get into listening to us two jack wagons?
Honestly, just like to keep in tune with my customers and what they're selling and what they're promoting, and start watching it. And honestly, I'm entertained every time I watch it, so I like to watch it more.
Perfect. All right, fair enough.
I was going to make a joke, but I don't know how I'm going to make it. Yeah, I'm not going to make it.
Leave on a high. Man. Leave on a high.
All right. So for those of you that maybe didn't catch the intro here, we have Mark from Edge. Mark, tell us what you do at Edge and what you do at Edge. Let's start with that.
All right. So I'm one of the outside sales reps for Edge. I've been with Edge since 2007.
Oh, damn. I
And-
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Shit.
So definitely been around. I've been, there through the ups and downs, of different economies and other things in the diesel world. And basically what I do is go all over the country teaching people about products and going to different events and help my resellers sell our products. That's really the main thing that I do.
Yeah, and you guys have expanded quite a bit since 2007. I mean, just the whole. Are you guys under the Holly umbrella? Is that what you call it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely under the Holly umbrella. So Holly has over 70 different automotive brands that fit many different niches. Obviously, Edge is in the diesel niche and has been since the beginning of Edge or diesel performance. You know, really, it's been one of the pioneers. And yeah, we've got some other good brands like ADS Racing Shocks, you know, for some of the off-road guys, and Flowmaster for some of the Jeep guys. But yeah, Holly's a good company. You know, Edge is a great company and always has been. I've been there since 07 because they've treated me right.
Yeah. So you got to see essentially like all the emissions come in, working for a tuning company, seeing all the emission stuff come in. You guys probably had to switch gears like insanely with that. And now, I mean, we're stuck with it, and that's just kind of how it is. But a pretty big change that happened as you started.
Oh, absolutely. You know, when I first started working at Edge Products, you know, DPFs weren't even a thing. You know, a couple of years later, they were a thing, and everybody wanted to do certain things to them. So it's one of those things where, you know, I've definitely been able to see what's gone on in the market. And, you know, it's great because Edge has been a company that has for a long time been, you know, one of the leaders in emissions compliance. One of the ones that, you know, did a lot of innovative things that other people weren't doing at the time. So it's been a fun ride so far.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Gosh, I remember back in the day running a Juice with Attitude on my second gen with a Smarty stack. Talk about fun. I always look back at like some of those earlier days, because back in the day, like 500 horsepower was like, oh my God.
Yeah, you're the man.
Like, yeah, you got so much power. Like, that's insane. And now it's like, now we got trucks that are just like coming off the line with 500 horsepower already. And it's just like, yeah, we did it. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I even the Edge Juice that I took off my Excursion that I have. It's like version. I think I said it was version like 1.0, 1.03 on there or something like that. Yeah, that thing was
just
old,
OG original.
Old. Manufactured date was like 102 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually just sold that this week. Someone bought it from me.
And they'll probably have great luck with it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was going to email you. I was going to ask you if you had any refurbs hanging around, because he's like, I'll take another one if you can find one. And I was like, I'm pretty sure they don't.
I'm pretty sure you're right.
Yeah. Because for a while, you guys were still selling the 15001s or something like that, just for the 7.3s with the Game Boy screen, for like, even after it was discontinued for everybody else, just because the 7.3 dipshits were still just like, that's the best tuner ever.
Is that the Evolution, right? I think it was the Evolution handheld.
Yeah, that was the one that they nicknamed the Game Boy Evolution, because it looked like a Game Boy. And it was honestly, before they discontinued it, it was one of the top part numbers for Edge.
Yeah.
And kind of cool to see that. But unfortunately, you know, the parts for those were hard to come by. So we had to, you know, send it off, you know, with a good salute and an appreciative smile. But that one was replaced by the 15001, and then there was an even newer version called the 15001-1 that, you know, was the newer monitor and had an EGT probe with it. But the 7.3s are, you know, really some of what got Edge on the board and, you know, made them popular.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right, Mark, what was your first car?
My first car was a Saturn Coupe.
Oh,
Saturn Coupe.
a coupe,
If
you will. So, what color was it? Was it that stupid tan that every Saturn was?
No, it was Aqua.
Ooh.
Wow, you and Tyler both with just the stupid random economy cars that are stupid
What
colors.
are you talking about?
Purple Mazda?
Okay.
Teal Saturn.
The purple Mazda was a project that I bought from a lesbian couple down the street. Okay. They were a very nice couple. Okay. They didn't know how to fix it, and neither did I. As soon as I popped the hood, I immediately regretted my decision. Okay. But my first car was what do they call it? It was Regatta Blue.
Oh,
Yeah.
a Regatta.
1963 Ford Fairlane 2-door post 4-speed with a 302. Not original, but yeah.
And then you went to a purple Mazda.
No, it was my project. It was a
Oh.
project car.
Okay, all right.
I never actually, well, I kind of drove it, but like I was like 15, 16 at the time. Do we have to redo this?
No, I'm just
It was like
poking
15. Yes, it was purple. All right, it was fuchsia.
What is your current daily driver, Mark?
My current daily driver is a 2006 Honda Civic.
We're gonna edit that out.
So what truck do you have, Mark? Since you daily drive, what's your tow rig? I mean, you live in Utah. You must have some sort of side-by-side or a boat or something, right? You don't tow that with your Civic.
No, I have a 2013 Ford Explorer XLT.
Shit.
We're gonna edit that out as well.
Yeah.
No, okay.
It's almost like when me and Tyler started this podcast.
Yeah.
Both had shitbag Suburbans. At least Tyler's was diesel.
Yeah. Yeah. I was the only one staying true to my roots.
Okay, well, let's try and redeem yourself. Mark, have you ever owned a diesel truck?
No. I have owned a 69 GS 400 with a turbo 400 transmission, though.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
There you go. There you go.
Damn it, Mark.
Fire engine red, black top.
Black
All
top.
right. All right. All right. Well, I mean, Edge, to his defense,
Mhm.
Edge does sell tuners for gas engines as well.
Yeah, they do. They sell them for Saturns?
No, sir.
That
Just checking.
was his first car, all right. But they do sell them for Explorers, right? Right?
For EcoBoost,
Okay.
we have a Dabble Sport that does
Okay.
the Explorers.
Okay, perfect. See, he's still cool. All right, still cool.
I also have 4 kids
Okay, there's okay.
and a house.
Yeah. That'll take the funds away from the fun vehicles.
Sounds like you need an excursion.
Yeah. Oh God, Ben.
Sounds like I need a raise.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on, Edge. What the hell?
Get this man an excursion.
No, so Edge Easy. We're jumping all around. I'm sorry, but you guys got the new Edge Easy X for the Rams coming out. Is there anything new down the pipeline that you can maybe share? Maybe a little bit, like maybe a hint.
Not a big hint, but there's more of that coming.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair
More
enough.
things like the Easy X.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Because we did get quite a bit of comments on the video we put out on our YouTube page of like, are they going to offer this for my truck? Am I going to be able to do something like that? So that's good. I like the fact that there's going to be other stuff coming in the pipeline for that.
Yeah.
I also am a huge fan of your guys' the mounts that you guys are putting out. Jacob sent me one. I have it in the center console of the Excursion. I haven't put it on yet because I want to do a video on it. But the first thing I messaged him back and I was like, it's metal. For some reason, I thought it was like just like really, really nice, thick like poly or something like that, or really thick plastic. And I got it and I was like, this box is heavy. Like maybe he shipped me like a bag of dicks or something. I don't know. I was like, oh, it's a metal mount.
Yeah. No, those mounts are those are awesome. For all the trucks. I mean, that's a mounting has always been at least for me something that I like. I always want things clean, right? I don't like suction cups and no offense to your guys' suction cup mounts or anything, but I have especially on like 3rd gen Rams, we would sell guys the SRT10 pillars. So you still have the grab handle and then get your guys' adapter for the 2 16th gauge pod and then throw an inside in that. And that's like super, super clean.
Mhm.
But what you guys are doing with that one bolt and that arm, that's epic. Like that, it makes it so nice. So kudos to you guys on that. That is, solved a lot of problems.
Yeah, we've got a lot of problem solvers, that work for us, and honestly, it's one of those things. I've been with Edge Products for so long that I've seen all kinds of dash pods and other pods and pillar pods, and this is by far one of the best mounting solutions that we've ever offered, and it looks good. It's built solid. And that's why we're continuing to expand, those mounts because they are so good. And, suction cup mounts, they're only going to last so long on a windshield, especially in, hot or cold environments. So this is definitely a more permanent solution. a better solution, for the guys that want to keep their stuff nice.
Yeah, for sure.
What is the most so as far as your position now at Edge, did you always have that, or did you kind of work your way up? I assume you probably worked your way up.
I did work my way up. So I started there in 07, worked in tech support for about 1.5 years, and then moved into inside sales, did that for about 6 years, and then moved into outside sales.
So if you were doing that, that was like at that time, so that would have been like the late 2000s that you were still doing tech support. Obviously, you're still doing tech support for stuff now because I email you all the fucking time. I appreciate how quickly you respond to my emails. Makes me happy. But what is the, like, if you could pound something into everybody's head that always seems to call in with issues, what do you wish you could shout from the mountaintops?
Read the instructions.
And with that, thanks for tuning in, everybody. It's so true.
Yeah.
Read the damn instructions.
Oh yeah.
Like I just recently did like the 05 to 07 upgrade on the headlights on the Excursion. I watched probably 5 different people's videos on it. I downloaded and printed 3 different people's instructions on how to do it. And then on one set of instructions, I specifically screenshotted and expanded the pictures even more and printed all of it out.
Yeah.
I had like 30 pieces of paper, 30 pieces of goddamn paper going to this, and I didn't need any of them.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably because I watched so many freaking videos beforehand.
Yeah.
that was good.
Yeah, no, especially just because I obviously just installed that EasyX. What I found extremely helpful with those instructions is anytime you're running wiring through a firewall, from what I've seen in the past, it's been like, okay, yeah, just figure it out, like run the wire through the firewall. You guys actually put it here. Like, here's the spot you go through the firewall. And I truly appreciated that like a ton, because when people think of running something through the firewall, it's like, oh my God, like where do I go? Like, how do I get there? Like there's you can't see anything, like, so for you guys to actually have that portion in there, I think it's huge. So that to me was extremely helpful, because I've always hated going through a firewall and then blowing a hole through something that doesn't like quite line up to where you need it. Now you got a hole there, and now you're looking for another hole to put somewhere else. So, yeah, no, your guys' instructions it almost makes it too easy. I'm almost nervous for people that are installing some things, because they'll just, who knows what their level of competence is with, well, let alone reading. We have that issue with people. So.
Yeah. I mean, not only reading, but just generally in life, searching for holes.
Yeah.
It's
yeah, there you go, Ben. Yeah. Just can't help yourself, can you?
That was the toned down version. I worked my way down from like X down to that in my head while you were talking just now.
Yeah.
But to go off of that, it's the last thing you want to do with your brand new $80,000 truck, especially on the newer trucks. Like the more specific instructions you can put, especially for a newer vehicle. I think that really, really is where it comes. That it really helps, because again, you're trying to put this through the firewall, and you're like, I just bought this truck.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to put extra holes where they don't need to be.
Is it gonna leak?
Yeah.
Am I gonna get water in here?
Well, then of course, if you don't specify which hole to go in,
I could totally see someone like getting their DeWalt drill.
Yeah.
Just like step drill bit.
going through a harness, or like going through some sort of like HVAC, something like that.
Totally.
Well, you didn't tell me not to put it through there.
Yeah,
Like, God.
Yeah.
That'll be in the next instructions.
Yeah.
Note,
Yeah.
please do not do this.
Yeah. Do not just grab a drill bit and start drilling holes in your firewall.
I know that you owe more on this than your house, but just don't do that, please.
Just don't do that. Yeah.
All right, Mark, let's get down to the real deal here.
Oh God. Brace yourself.
All right. Bigfoot's dick. Okay.
Oh my God.
Red Rocket or Hairy Man dick? Tyler has to know.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
I was in Tyler's office beforehand when I told him we were going to have you on. He's like, make sure to ask him about Bigfoot's dick. I was like, fine, Tyler, I'll do it.
That's not something I have any expertise on,
Yeah.
so I'll have to defer to somebody else on that one.
I told you I was gathering Bigfoot videos, and we were going to discuss this on a separate episode. Right?
Let's see here.
Tomorrow they will say Donald Trump
God, Ben.
Okay, so currently that's our magic 8
Are you
ball.
just trying to turn awkward level up to like 15 to 20 right now?
It's
and
like you've
max
never
out
done
at
an
10?
episode with me with a guest. That's my job. That's what I think about.
He's not on our level, Ben.
Don't talk down to our guest.
Go.
So, what's your least favorite part of the podcast, Mark?
You say my least favorite part of the podcast?
Yeah.
The end.
Ooh.
Wow, way to turn that around. You must be a really good husband.
Yeah,
that was elite.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Fucking good. Well, then I guess, did you get your wife anything for Thanksgiving? Or not Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day?
No, I have 4 kids, so I'm a little bit busy.
That's true. That's true. I've only got 2, so I don't have any excuses.
I've got none. I have no excuses.
Tyler, what'd you get your wife for Valentine's Day? God, I have Thanksgiving on the brain right now.
Listen, okay, Valentine's Day for one. Okay, that's a fake holiday. That's made up by card companies. All right.
Yeah.
To expand their profits.
Right.
All right. So nothing. Yet.
Yeah. Until Instagram.
That happens the day of, and then I just walk in the door naked.
It's me.
Valentine's
Yeah.
Day.
Get a little helicopter, whatever.
Hover on in there.
Yeah. It's like you're floating.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Yeah.
Man, well, Mark, do you have like a favorite diesel truck or a least favorite diesel truck?
I do. I like the 17 to 22 Ford 6.7s. They're quite nice.
Yeah, they are.
Wouldn't mind having one of those in my garage. As far as least favorite, probably the old, I hate to say it, the old, what is it, 6.2 liter diesels?
Oh.
Yeah.
You just barely escaped old.
I had one of those. I can tell you, probably the most underpowered, largest machine I've ever owned was that 6.2.
And that's saying a lot because you have talked a lot of shit about 7.3s.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it can actually move weight.
Say
Like
it.
itself in
Go
something
ahead,
else.
yes.
No, it
Go
can
ahead,
tow.
say it.
They can
Yeah.
tow. Okay.
Yeah.
They have an extraordinarily low horsepower rating for the amount of liters that are in that engine. Okay. It is an engineering marvel that they were able to only make like 120 horsepower out of 7.3 liters. Marvel. Like I don't know how they did it, but the 6.2 is the most gutless, underpowered. Like it shouldn't. I hate to say it.
Mhm.
But I can because I did own one that they shouldn't have existed.
That's right.
I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, while they were pumping those things out, well, it was more 6.5. Like Ram's already doing, VE inline 6 Cummins with turbo,
Mhm.
not intercooled, but making way more power and actually usable.
Mhm.
Whereas a 6.2 was kind of like I don't know. It's like you bought a truck with an engine that was like barely surviving. Like
1 foot in
already.
the grave.
Yeah, it was like already like, yeah, I'm already wore out. Like,
I'm sorry. The whole time, it's just...
I'll start up and I'll move, but that's about it.
That's all I got.
Yeah. It's
Sorry.
like that lady that was like chain smokes and drinks all day long, but continues to live for some reason.
For no
Like,
good
how
reason.
are you still alive? Well, 5 Cokes a day and 2 packs of cigarettes, and then I do a nightcapper or some whiskey, and then and the next morning she just wakes up.
Yeah.
Just like, God damn it, Grandma, die.
Mom calls her dad still alive.
No, so I could agree with that. Hence, since I was an owner, I could say that the only thing close to that as far as the worst would probably be this 6.9 Ford.
Mhm.
That thing is again, the 7.3 was an engineering marvel as far as the horsepower to displacement, right?
Right.
That engine was a marvel of how much noise it made. Like just from like startup.
Mhm.
Like how could something make that sort of like metallic noises when you start it up
And have that be the actual, like, how it's
and
supposed
that's
to
how
sound.
it's supposed to be. Like that's it. That's it.
I mean, aside from the fact that it's a 6.9 and the displacement in cubic inches is 420, I give no fucks about that engine.
Yeah.
I mean, that's tight. That's awesome. If I had to buy an IDI, I'd buy a 6.9 purely for the fact that's a 6.9 420. That's it.
Oh, God.
I know it's shitty,
Yeah, they're terrible.
but I would call it a 6.9 420
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, I could agree with you on that. But so a while back, this was like, I think probably maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. When did you guys release the newest version of the Insight with the screen it has now?
It's about 2 years
Was
ago.
that 2 years ago? Maybe it was a couple. Is there anything on the pipes as far as a new version with another screen, or is that because I see guys like, and I'm not trying to like compare,
Spit it
Anyways,
out, Tyler.
One thing I have to hand it to is Bully Dog part of it?
No.
No, okay. So Bully, their screen that they had, like almost it was super nice, whatever they were doing. But the problem with that Bully Dog is it like doesn't like read shit.
Yeah.
Like it even on because I had one. I don't know how I got one. How did I get one of those? It was the BDX
Yeah.
that I think Josh like handed off to me, and I put it on my truck and wouldn't even read it.
Yeah.
And I was
Like
like, well, this
the-
thing's junk. I was
the-
like, I like the demo mode. I like the way it vibrates when I touch the screen.
Yeah. Well, the
But-
CTS3 does that, doesn't it?
It does not vibrate.
Oh,
No.
okay. But the like the actual like the physical screen was cool. The way
Yeah.
it like magnetically attached to it, that was
that
cool.
was cool.
Everything
Yes.
else about it was fucking
was
stupid.
junk.
Yeah.
It couldn't do anything. Like I couldn't plug it into anything. It wouldn't. There was like a finite amount of vehicles that would actually like read and display things.
Well, and it
I'm
wasn't
only
expandable.
asking just because I love like the new versions are always like, oh, okay, yeah, like I'm just waiting for the new one, but that's why I bring that up, just because I know I think Diablo was this was at like SEMA, like maybe it was like the last time I went, but they had something very similar to like the Bully Dog screen. So yeah. I know you said you didn't really have much to talk about as far as new product, but I'm just trying to kind of claw something out of you.
Yeah, I'd honestly say some of what we're developing is more products like that EZX that offer things that aren't being offered right now.
Yeah.
At some point we will come out with a new version of the CTS monitor, but those usually have a pretty good life cycle, and we don't want to kill them too early. And we've sold over 100,000 units since the release of that product, so it's doing quite well.
Yeah. No, we love them. We talk about them all the time. It's definitely hands down the best monitoring device if someone wants digital gauges out there, hands down.
Mhm.
I mean, the expansion capability, the usability of it, the customizability, is that a word? Customizability?
It is now.
It is now. Is just, far better than anything else that's out there for digital gauges. I mean, gosh, are we still selling like analog type gauges? You guys still selling like ISPROs and really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I can tell you this much. I sell the absolute shit out of Insights for 7.3 guys because there's no other way aside from that stupid little rinky dink scan tool, tiny, I don't even like them, to read IPR percentage.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just straight up, like that's it. Like I've even had, when folks call in and they want me to help them like diagnose things, and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to buy this and see if it fixes it." I'm like, "Trust me, buy this, plug it in, and just watch your truck for a couple of days, and then call me back.
Yeah.
You may not know what those numbers mean, but you'll be able to tell when something's wrong.
Yeah.
Just watch that."
Yeah.
And like that is hands down the best thing. Well, and you can monitor pulse width on there too for 7.3 stuff, but that doesn't really. Yeah, so if you're going to dive deep into it, but as far as like if anybody calls me for diagnosing stuff, I'm like, "Cool, what's your ICP IPR?" I'm like, "Huh?" I'm like, "Fuck. Here's a partner. Buy this.
Yeah.
Call me back."
Yeah.
Uh,
Do you have a response to that, Mark? How do you feel about 7.3s?
I like 7.3s. They're
That's right. Fuck you, Tyler.
the funny thing about 7.3s is that people love them so much, even though they're so old. Oftentimes they'll go to shows and different things, and they'll be like, "Hey, I'm gonna put a 7.3 in this brand new truck," and you're like, the 7.3 is not the most powerful engine out there. It is reliable, but it's not the most powerful. But there's a lot of cool things you can do with the 7.3s, and those trucks just go forever. Those engines go forever. They're super reliable, and not a bad engine to have. Are there better? Probably, but it's one of the top ones in the market that I've seen in the time that I've been working for Edge. It's definitely got a cult like following.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we do.
Very much so cult like.
We're just a bunch of dumbasses. And, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Truly, the only reason that I bought my first 7.3 was because it was the biggest. I had like virtually zero diesel experience. Like aside from being a Ford guy, I knew two things. Two things, not one. Two.
Yeah.
One, I was in California. I wanted pre-smog. Two, fucking big.
Yeah.
It's big. It's the biggest one I could get. And I remember I was so green at that point that I messaged my buddy Matt because I knew he had a Cummins, he had a second gen. And now I know these things. Obviously I didn't. I just knew he had a Dodge, and I didn't know what year it was, but I knew it was a diesel. I was like, Matt, what year is your truck? And it was a VP truck. And he was like, oh, it's a 99 or 2000, whatever. I was like, oh, that sucks. I can't get one of those. Anyways, well, how big is the engine? He's like 5.9. I was like, 5.9? What a piece of shit. You know they offer 7.3s, right? Like, you idiot. Meanwhile, like, his dad's, he grew up on a farm. Like, they had 7.3s for their farm trucks and 5.9s for their work trucks. Yeah. I know it sounds like a farm truck and a work truck, same thing. But like, for going around the yard, like, when they weren't driving away from the farm, all their trucks were 7.3s. All the farm equipment were all 7.3s, even some IDIs. But all of their like going into town, hauling stuff, they were all 5.9s.
Yeah.
But that was my first. I was like, 5.9, pussy. And then he took me for a ride and turned up the tuner. I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah. Then you hop in your 7.3 and you're just like,
hopped in my stock 7.3 with the I literally like duct taped a 6637 filter on it.
I think a golf cart could get you off the line.
Yeah. And then I modded my IDM on my own with like a 35-cent resistor. I thought I was hot shit.
Tuner.
You're a tuner. I didn't even have a freaking chip on it yet.
No, I'm saying you are the tuner now.
I am the tuner. Yeah. I opened the IDM. Such a dumbass move.
Yeah.
But, obviously we're all dumb when we're younger and stuff like that. But like, I literally had to work like 2 days later. Like, it was a Friday night. I busted up. Little did I know that like IDMs are hard to find and like not cheap.
Yeah.
totally
just tear yours apart like an old VCR.
Yeah. And I'm not even like really good at soldering. Like, I'm really good at taking shit apart, but I'm like okay at soldering. Not even thinking how detailed the soldering needs to be. So I literally got it all the way open. I was like, fuck. Called my buddy Evan, and I was like, Evan, you're really good at soldering. Come over here. Luckily, you're a coworker. He's the best man at my wedding. So like, he came over and soldered it for me. And I slapped it back together with some RTV and put it in the truck. And then luckily it started up, and I drove it. And like, looking back now, I'm like, God, what an idiot. Yeah. Like, I have to use this truck to make money. Yeah. Why am I tearing it apart on a Friday night?
Well,
like, fuck. Live and learn, I guess.
Yeah. So Mar, I would think our listeners might be kind of privy to this information, but I kind of go through. So you got Juice with Attitude. We've got the Evolution for the diesel truck market. So Juice with Attitude, Evolution. I know there's like the Pulsar for some trucks, like the L5Ps and whatnot, and then like the Evo HTs and all that. Like, kind of run through like nutshell differences between those two.
Awesome.
So those 5 or 4, wherever I said.
So a lot of people obviously know us for our Insight CTS3, and oftentimes they'll be like, I've got a CTS3. Oh, which one do you have? And they're like, no, the CTS3. They don't realize that there's 3 different product lines that use the CTS3 monitor. So you've got your Juice with Attitude, which is your inline module that plugs in underneath the hood and is basically a piggyback system. You've got your Evolution, which reflashes the vehicle, but also stays in as a monitor. And then you've got the Insight, which is the one that many people have that they use for monitoring. A lot of people forget that we have the Evolution CTS3 as an option, and that's really one of the best options for people who are wanting to adjust tire size, on some of the older applications. Also a good one for people who just want a good towing tune, for something like a 7.3, they could use the CTS 3 Evolution. There's a lot of applications that we support. There's a lot of third gen Dodge applications they're supporting, a lot of options, things that they could adjust on those, that weren't available before. A lot of people, probably think, oh, I need custom tuning. I got to custom tune my 4.5, Ram Cummins. But in all reality, they could probably just get an Evolution CTS 3 and call it good.
Yeah.
Especially if they're using the truck for towing, or, even if they want it to be some of it a hot rod, it holds its own.
Yeah, for sure. I think the custom tuning thing kind of gets used too much with people. People hear about it and, oh, my buddy's got custom tuning. He got, blah, blah, blah. I need custom tuning. Custom tuning must be so much better than off the shelf tuning. But it's like, what people don't realize is like, and this is a quote I learned from Ryan Milliken, like a long time ago, is tuning doesn't make power, parts make power, tuning just unlocks it. And like, there's only so much you can do when you're dealing with stock parts, and these people will get this idea in their head that they need custom tuning, when in all actuality, all they have done is an intake and exhaust, and maybe a couple other little airflow things. It's like, you're fine with just like off the shelf tuning. There's not much more that Edge is doing that they can't, that they're doing. They're doing with custom tuning. It's the parts that you're limiting, is the limiting factor, not the tuning. So I think that gets used a little too much, and people think they need it just because someone else has it, or they, watch a video of someone with way more mods than them, and then they're running, EFI Live or some actual custom tuning platform that actually needs it. So.
Yeah, and I'd also say on products like the Pulsar product line, which is a fairly new product line for us within the past couple of years, that's a good alternative too. We're plugging directly into the ECMs and being able to allow controls through the steering wheel and the dash of the vehicle, and sometimes that's kind of the opening the gate to some of the tuning options that are on these vehicles. And then we've done stuff like our Evo HT with the unlock for the L5Ps that it's good tuning. You're making over 100 horsepower on an emissions vehicle, and everything's intact.
Yeah.
And also doing transmission tuning on the 17 to 19 as well. So we've got some engineers that that they definitely work hard, and they've been doing it a long time. And I would put them up against a lot of the tuners that are out there. There's some good tuners out there, and I'll give credit where credit's due, but there's also credit that needs to be given to some of these engineers that have been doing this for over 20 years.
Yeah. Well, to make a product that you can just throw on the shelf and is like, hey, this will work for you, like,
That's the hard part.
Well, that is the hard part, and it's like, you got to be confident in what you're making to know that, like, hey, this is going to work on all of these, and we're not going to have a problem. There's to be able just to have that product on the shelf saying, yes, this works. It works every time. This is what it's going to net you. Here you go. You buy it and you're done. And to go with that Pulsar thing, I actually installed, I think it was pretty fresh. It was a pretty fresh product.
Yeah.
Cause I had a buddy with an L5P, and he's like, hey, what do you think about this? I was like, brand new product. It's pretty awesome. Yeah. Let's do it. And he bought it, and I installed it in the shop. And I tell you what, like that whole, he's like the ECM, like you basically get like a second ECM with this thing. Like it was actually pretty impressive what you get for the money, the technology that's in there, and the quality of the product. I mean, it's not something that you put in your hands and it feels like it's gonna fall apart on you. I mean, it feels like a whole other ECM you're adding on there, and it bolts up and works. And yeah, the steering wheel control thing I think is freaking awesome.
That's right.
I haven't yet played with it with my truck because I know it'll do it right, but I like I said, I spent like 2 minutes on the lower level, and I was like, okay, give me the power.
Yeah.
All the way up.
As we're installing it, like I have the camera and I'm trying to watch him on the phone, and the
That's
app,
my old habits.
the app connects to his phone, and the time it takes me to like press record and turn the screen around to watch, he's already on 60 horsepower going to throttle sensitivity. I'm like, why? Hey, Tyler, chill the fuck out. Rewind, okay? Like,
I'm on all of it.
it's like FPS Doug with a headshot. Like, I can't help it. I just automatically headshot every time. Everybody runs with the knife. Like,
Yeah.
we were talking about explaining Juice's attitude and evolution and insight with people and the acronyms. I can't tell you how many times I've had that conversation or through email. And it's like, a company like yours, like, you've done everything you can to say it in the name. It's an insight. Well, it's a tuner. No. It's an insight. Like, it's an insight into what your truck is doing.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's what it is.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, but it's the CT. Yeah, it stands for color touchscreen. Well, how come that one says CS? That stands for just color screen. You ain't got no buttons, man. There's no
Well, it's
T.
got buttons. There's no touchscreen.
Well, yeah, it's no touchscreen. It's got buttons. That's why the T is gone. Touchscreen, it's gone.
Yeah.
Oh.
You just became the smartest person in their mind.
Yeah. Like, I swear they meant to name things properly.
Or there's people that don't even know. Like, they could have a tuner, and they're like, "Oh, I got the edge with the touchscreen." I'm like, "Okay, which one? I don't know. What does it say on the screen when it fires up?"
Yeah.
Like, it'll literally tell you when it fires up. But that's always been pretty funny.
There's one of the earlier ones, and I can't remember what it is. That was it was when it was still just the CTS. It was the original one. By the way, we had a CTS 1 or OG if you want. That was like our company whore. This thing went to everybody. It was in my excursion, my first one. It was in Ash's truck. It was in Dustin's LLY. It was in Cooper's 13 for a little bit or something like that. This thing went everywhere. It might still be hanging around here somewhere. I don't know. But I actually, like, the CTS2 was already out and like well established, and I was still using that thing. Like, I installed it on the truck. But there was someone was like, "This thing only comes with one tune." I was like, "Hey man, hey, swipe. Just swipe." And you're like, "Whoop." He's like, "Oh."
Again,
Dude,
reading instructions goes a long way.
Yeah. You guys shorted me on the tunes. This thing's only got 30. I'm like, "Hey man, just swipe. I promise. Press the button. Just swipe." Oh, fuck. Does that say 120? Yes.
Yeah.
Try it. I mean, do it responsibly.
Yeah.
Try it.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Okay. Let's get real here.
You brace yourself again.
No, so I'll say you got 4 kids. How old are they?
So I've got a 3-year-old, I've got an 8-year-old, 11-year-old, and a 13-year-old.
Damn.
Did some work.
It's a pretty good spread, huh?
Yeah.
That's a healthy spread.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are almost on target, all of them. Did you have a plan in mind, or is that just how it worked?
You know, I don't know how to answer that question.
The answer is yes. Everything went according to plan.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, awesome.
No accidents.
Yeah.
No surprises.
So since we're kind of off the topic of like diesel stuff, you being under the Holley umbrella, I'm sure if you ever went to any like the Holley plate, they probably got some pretty badass rigs. I mean Holley, they've been, it's Holley.
Well,
It's like
I knew Holley before I knew Edge. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. So I mean, have you seen like some pretty cool stuff with at their facilities, or have you been, or I guess how does that work? How does that work? You working for Edge and
Yeah, so I do work for Edge, but I have been back to our headquarters in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and they've got a lot of R&D stuff going on there, a lot of cool stuff. Sometimes it may be an older vehicle that maybe we didn't think of much, when we were younger, S10, pickup trucks, 2-wheel drive, but they'll have big old LSs in them, or, Ford Fairlanes with giant, motors in them with blowers and whatnot. So there's some of that, but we also, one of our sister companies is Detroit Speed, which they do a lot of really high-end builds, but they also make a lot of chassis components, for some of the C10 trucks and, some of the popular applications that are out there, F
Yeah.
body, Camaro, stuff like that.
Yeah, because that's got to be a cool like umbrella to be under. Like
Yeah.
that's like that's probably one of the coolest ones to be under a video. Like to have like the muscle car stuff and like the hot rod stuff, and you got the diesel truck stuff. Because you guys got is it ProForged as well?
Yep,
ProForged,
that's-
so steering and suspension components. We've had great luck with that brand as well. You guys, Bright Earth lighting. We've started adding that.
Yeah, we've got one called Retro Bright, which is for a lot of the
Mhm.
older classic vehicles. It's basically a classic look of headlight, but with modern technology, and those have just been selling like crazy. They've been doing really well on a lot
Yeah.
of the old hot rods, and even some of the other vehicles that would use the square headlights.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, I know Josh just sent me a link for some first gen Cummins headlight options.
Nice.
So yeah, I'll be adding those probably in the next couple of days.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Frick
Yeah.
yeah. All right. So, how'd you meet your wife? Ooh.
I actually met my wife through our church. We would have these activities for single adults, and went to the activity and talked, and she seemed pretty cool, and now we have 4 kids.
Well, no, that's awesome. Church and community is huge. I know we probably never touched on that, but like community involvement is, in my mind, the most paramount thing that's probably missing from a lot of people's lives these days.
Yeah.
And whether it has to be centered around a church or not, but community involvement, like just, being a part of your neighborhood, being a part of your neighbors.
Yeah, I try not to.
I fucking love my neighbors. Like I
try to stay away.
I don't know. Dude, we have little block parties and stuff like that. We got a little Facebook group and all that shit.
I would never go to a block party in my neighborhood.
Really?
Yeah,
They're a banger, dude.
I don't care. This is weird.
If my house is on fire, don't let me burn.
I'll sit comfortably in my living room and I'll be that creeper that's watching. Just
You would.
I would. I totally would, dude. I totally would. I'll just be watching my ring, just like, don't step foot in my yard.
Turn the
I'm
sprinklers
that
on.
guy. Yeah, I'm that. I would too. I would. Yeah.
Dick.
He'd be the old guy. Get off my lawn.
Yeah. Did you hear the story about when I got offended by the what were they called? The
Jehovah's Witness.
Jehovah's Witness. I was offended
Yeah.
by them because they skipped my house. And I went out there. I went out to check my mail. Like, is there something wrong with my house? Like, why did you skip? Like, what? And then what did he say? He said, can I say, like, he was on someone else's porch and said, like, can I say a prayer for you? I'm like, I'm good. I'm going to blow you off just like you blew me off. See ya. Have a good one. Gosh, what's wrong with my house?
You've been blacklisted.
I've been blacklisted.
It's probably your beautiful little
Pit bull?
not scary looking 125 looking, just burly bitch barking at him. And
That might have something to do with it. That might
she's a big old softy, but I tell you what, if you don't know she's a softy, that's
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's all pit bull thing too. I mean, it's
Yeah. No, it was funny. Last night, my wife had a friend over, and I get home and say hi to the dog, say hi to the wife, whatever, and I crack a beer and sit on the couch, and here comes my dog Echo. She's a blue nosed pit bull, and she's a big dog. She's 120 pounds, like she's a big girl, and she just crawls up and literally crawls on my lap and sits down, and then I look over and my wife and her friend are looking at me like. I'm like, what? This is normal. this big old dog.
Yeah.
Like,
So baby.
and that's my dog.
Yeah.
But if you walk up to my house and nobody's home, like she's at the window
Mhm.
doing the pit bull thing. But as soon as you walk in the door, she's like, "Oh, hey, I know you."
Yeah.
So-
I don't know what it is. This glass like a filter.
yeah, it's a weird filter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, well, that's my dog. But yeah, that probably does have something to do with them skipping my house. I would
Maybe.
imagine.
I mean, I would blacklist you for that.
Yeah.
I know she's a cutie, but she's a scary looking dog if you don't know what's going on.
She's a pretty little girl.
She's a pretty little girl. Yeah. All right.
Do you have any dogs?
I do not.
You do not.
He's got 4
Lucky
kids.
for you. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like having 12 dogs.
Yeah. I guess so. I wouldn't know.
I have a neighborhood full of people that have dogs.
Yeah.
So if we want dogs, we just say, "Hey, can I see your dog for a little bit?"
They're probably like, thank God, take
kids
him.
walk your dog?
Yeah.
Oh, pet him. Okay, see you later.
Yeah.
They don't have to worry about that on my couch or
Yeah.
chewing up crap or my shoes.
Yeah, we had my dog. We had this big. It was a pretty big sectional that we had gotten because our other house had a much larger living room than what we have now, and had a chase lounge on one side. Well, I'm gonna blame this on my wife slightly because we have you seen those like rubber dog toys that you put like peanut butter or whatever in and they play with them, right? Before she left for the day, or before we left, I think it was on a weekend, she had filled one of those things up with peanut butter. Well, some of that peanut butter went on the couch
Ooh.
on the chase lounge, and I kid you not, my dog Doug busted open the couch, pulled foam out of the foot of the chase lounge. I walked in the house. Our whole living room was covered in foam. Like the amount of foam that came out of there, is like a mystery to me. Like, how could all of that have come out of that? Because it was just everywhere.
I mean,
And then
is this the new Chase? Or the
No,
old
this
one?
was the old
Oh,
one,
thank
yeah.
God.
Yeah. So she had literally the only way she could have gotten the foam out of where she got it from, she would have had to have gotten into the couch and pulled it out of the hole and then spit it out. But we came home, dude, and it was like a foam pit, like in our living room. And I was like, my wife's name is Cass. I was like, Cass, do not come in here right now. Like, just don't do it. Yeah, well, that was the end of the chase lounge. But she's older now, so she's a pretty good girl. But yeah.
So, Mark, what is your jam? Like, aside, it doesn't need to be trucks. It doesn't even need to be motor related. What is Mark's jam? What gets you going?
You know, honestly, my biggest jam right now is just being a dad. You know, there's so much fun things you get to do as a dad, so many different things you get to teach your kids, show your kids, do with your kids. So that's one of my main jams. I've always been a car guy, so that's, you know, a jam as well. And then I also like the outdoors. Living in Utah, you know, it's absolutely beautiful and in a place that I love to go outside and just enjoy it. But mostly just spend time with family and doing stuff outdoors, you know, is some of my passions and some of what I enjoy.
Yeah, Utah's pretty badass. As far as the outdoors go, I've only been down there to go down to like industrial injection. I haven't really explored. I know the other guys here with the, you know, off-road stuff has been, you know, all around Utah and whatnot, but I would really like to make my way down there, especially with our, you know, my toy hauler and the side-by-side and go play around down there. I know it's like the spot for that kind of stuff. So yeah, Utah's cool.
Yeah, I love all of the Instagram posts about Utah moms and their Stanley Cups and their just.
I don't know if I've seen. I'm not following.
Man, well, I guess if you guys know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, then I guess you don't. But like the super crunchy moms that went and got their MRS at college, and now they have Stanley Cups and wear activewear all the time, and have way too many kids.
Stanley Cups.
Yes.
Explain that to me. I'm thinking Stanley Cup. I'm thinking the trophy for hockey.
No. Stanley, like a mug. Tumbler.
Oh, like tumbler. I'm like, wow, well, they're just walking around with Stanley Cups? Like, what are they, hockey players?
I mean, that would
I don't know hockey players come out of Utah. And where's the women's league? What?
Shit. The winters are really cold.
Yeah.
No, I've always, moving on from there, because I guess it's lost, because no one in this room knows what I'm talking about.
They have a Stanley Cup.
Watch, I mean... Phones are listening.
Are you following
now
that?
You'll probably get these populated.
See, he wasn't either.
Yeah. Huh. Sorry. Anyways, so before kids, I want to get to the root of Mark. Before kids, what was the jam? What was you wake up early, you're going to do it. Like you would routinely, you know, push maybe friends, family, loved ones aside, said, "Fuck you guys, I'm doing this." Maybe not those words. But
Yeah, I'd say before kids, it was cars. I remember before kids, that I would go to car shows. Had a couple old cars in the past that
boom,
just
pause.
enjoyed
Old cars, go. What do you have?
Nothing now, but I used to have a.
Well, not, yeah. What did you have? Sorry, go.
I had a 64 Nova 2 in high school.
Hell yeah.
So that was my project car. So that was one of the ones I had. And then for a short period of time, I had a 69 Buick GS 400 convertible,
Mhm.
which was also really chill ride, really fun to drive.
Cool. Is it like the car thing? Is that like a family thing? It was like your dad was into and you were into too, or no?
No, it's just something that I just
Kind of
got into. Ever since I was a kid, I've liked cars. I had a neighbor with a 55 210 Chevy,
Yeah.
which is basically like a watered down Bel Air.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that kind of introduced me to it a little bit. But the other thing is, when I was in the car driving down the road in our station wagon, I would look at these other cars and be like, oh, that's a Ford Mustang, or I'd read what was on the back of it.
Yeah.
And then as I got older, people would be like, what is that? I'm like, oh, that's a, such and such car. And now it's kind of one of those same things. I'll be in a building somewhere and I hear a motor. I'm like, oh, that's a 5.9 Cummins.
Yeah.
You know, or,
Yeah.
oh, hey, that's a 7.3 Power Stroke.
Yeah.
And or oh, hey, that's a Duramax. It's one of those things where I've always been passionate about cars, but as an adult, I just haven't had as much time to spend on it.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. I could go to a car show and I could spend 2 or 3 hours there. My kids can't, but I could if I had the time to do it.
Yeah. So if you were to build a vehicle right now, like what would be that vehicle? You can go in as depth as you would like to go as far as engine. I know a lot of people doing swaps now, but like what would be that? Would be that rig?
I would say it'd be a tie between a square body Chevy
Okay.
or an older Jeep.
Okay.
And with the older Jeep, I wouldn't be afraid to put a different motor in it, something a little bit more hopped up, maybe something with an LS.
Yeah.
Would be up my alley.
Like one of those older full size Jeeps.
Yep,
Yeah,
like
okay.
a CJ5, CJ7,
Okay.
Scrambler, one of those older ones.
Scramblers.
Yeah. Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah.
But part of me just wants to build something that's more analog, versus in a digital world, something with a manual shifter
Yeah.
and, loud exhaust,
Okay.
wouldn't hurt. It's just one of those things where, especially with my kids, I want them to understand, where cars have been and the joy of the design in older vehicles, because that's kind of lost in some of our newer vehicles.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
100%. You don't get that. Even with new trucks, I was at the grocery store.
Oh, I was going to go with the Joe Rogan.
No,
Yeah, go ahead.
but I was at the grocery store and I walked by a new Duramax and I had no idea it was actually running. Like it is so quiet. Like it just, which is nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's cool that it's a quiet and whatnot, but at the same time, like going back to what you said, like more analog, like there was something about a rumble of an engine where you shift it and you feel it. And it's just similar, like, Joe Rogan, when he talks about, I have a Tesla, but I prefer driving.
When I
want to drive, I'll drive something like this,
has
where it's a
an old
manual
Porsche.
transmission where you can feel it. And like, it's just more, you're just more integrated with the machine versus nowadays with these new trucks. It's just like, it does everything for you. They've got transmissions that shift, up to, 1,000 freaking gears now, whatever. And it's just, there's no connection between the driver. You just sit in it and you hit the throttle and you go. And there's no, that feeling's gone with that. And that's what kind of brings me to my next question is, how do you feel about the electric vehicles and electric trucks and them trying to tell us that we can't have our internal combustion engines in a few years?
Yeah, I'd honestly say when it comes to, electric vehicles that, I'd say there's a place for them.
Yeah.
There's certain areas where I could have them, but I think for the most part, I like the sound of an engine,
Yeah.
and I like that sound actually coming from an engine, not a speaker.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
yes.
and I love I love downshifting and hearing the RPMs go up. I just like the experience. So for me, I hope they'll let us have our internal combustion engines as long as possible,
yeah.
and not force another type of platform on us. And if somebody wants to have both, wants to have a diesel truck and a electric car, could go for it. That's your jam.
Yeah. Yeah.
May not be my jam, but that's your jam. And one of those things. But I honestly think as long as they don't need to force it on us, that's the thing that bothers me the most. We're not going to make them drive big lifted diesel trucks or hot rods or anything like that. They shouldn't force us to do the same thing. But there's good things coming with some of those platforms and cars. But me personally, I like the mechanical
Yeah.
aspect of an internal combustion engine. When I had my 64 Nova, I liked that it had its weird quirks,
Yeah.
where you had to be almost stopped to put it into first, and then you had to smoothly get it into second and then down to third.
Yeah. Yeah.
That put a smile on my face. And I don't know that you get that same thing with a lot of electric cars right now.
Yeah.
The was it a column shift?
Absolutely.
Yeah, the motion you just made right there, I was
Yeah.
like, yeah.
My 63 the original 63 that I had was originally a column shift, and they moved it to the floor. But yeah, a lot of cars they did back then was column manual shift, which back in the day, like when I got this car, I was like, oh, column shift, that's stupid. Like, give me 4 on the floor, baby. Like,
Yeah.
I want it down there. But then, like, now, like, when you think about it, it's like, that's actually kind of convenient.
Yeah.
It's like, like to shift right there. That's not bad.
the first time I ever drove a column shift was I was working at Home Depot in San Diego, and my coworker of mine had a Ranchero, and yeah, he's like,
He made great life choices, I'm sure. Probably to this day.
whatever he's doing, I know he's having fun because he's that kind of guy.
And I guarantee he still has a mullet.
Hey man, it was cool in '88. It was cool in 05, 06. Still cool. Okay, it's coming back. Never went away.
I'm sorry, Ford, but the Ranchero is probably one of the some of the years probably the ugliest vehicle ever made.
Oh, and it was an early Ranchero too. So it
terrible.
was, I don't know my years of Rancheros. It was
Neither
early
do I.
though.
I don't think anybody
was
does,
like
'cause they don't
where
care.
It was like sort of finned on the back, but not.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's totally underpowered.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure I don't even know what
Like
this
the
had
El
in it.
Camino, same style, way nicer looking.
Yes,
Like,
but yeah, I was like, is that column shifter? He's like, yeah. Can I drive it?
Yeah.
I've never I can drive a stick. It's fine. But like I've never driven a column shifter.
Yeah.
And after driving that thing, I was like, wow, I never put those together. If that's how it is,
yeah.
and I was pretty cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, kind of jumping back to the electric thing. I mean, if you listen to us, obviously you probably know our opinion on it, but especially with the truck market, like leave it to the cars. Okay. You can do the electric cars, but trying to jump into our market of heavy duty trucks, the technology is just not there. Like you cannot hook up a fifth wheel or any sort of toy hauler or any sort of, I'm just going to take camping for an example, just because I do it, but you can't do it. Like your range the range is not there and the infrastructure is not there. So it's just, to me, if they're trying to push that kind of stuff on us, they are literally like kind of eliminating a whole other category of establishment as far as like these camping companies that make these fifth wheels and these toy haulers and that sort of thing. Because it's like they're not going to buy one to go out and go camp with, because you're going to get there and then you're going to be stuck. You're not going to be able to get back unless you plug it into the generator and do all, whatever. But it's just not, it's not feasible.
I had a thought about that a couple of days, or last weekend. I was leaving Mount Spokane, got some morning laps in while I was snowboarding, and there's a Rivian parked in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, I always took a picture of it because I wanted to make fun of it, but I was like, I'm walking. I had my headphones on. I was grooving. I was feeling good. Finished my day. And I'm thinking to myself as I'm sitting in my excursion, changing from my boots into my shoes. And I'm like,
what a terrible place to break down.
yeah, I'm thinking to myself, like, so that guy's on the mountain right now, skiing, snowboarding, whatever, I hope he or she, they, Zai, whatever the fuck they are, having a good time, right?
Yeah.
But I can't help to think in the back of their mind, they're like, am I gonna have enough juice to get home? Because it's cold as shit. It was probably
Yeah.
about 19 or 20 when I was walking
Yeah.
back. And that was probably about, I'm not gonna lie, guys, don't get mad at me for how I snowboard and whatnot. Okay, I used to be a 100-day a year kind of guy. Like I was diehard, and I had to drive like 4 hours one way just to get there. But now with I can't brag too much because Mark over here got 4 kids. I got 2, but I'm on the Saturday morning dad schedule. I get up first thing. I get there. I get first chair. As soon as the lines get long, I fucking leave.
Yeah.
I get my laps in fast.
Yeah.
If the lines get long, the visibility gets bad, or I feel like I need a beer, I leave
Yeah.
because I got a season pass. If I get home by 1:00, the day's not shot. I can still fold laundry. We can still go to Costco. We can still do whatever we need to do in the day. But I got my laps in.
Yeah.
So I'm leaving probably about I'm probably walking through there about noon. I'm like, man, this guy's probably. There's no way that in the back of his, she's, Zay's, whatever the fuck's. I assume that's how they're off the driver again. They're in mind. They're like,
They're probably snowshoeing.
probably. Like, am I going to make it home?
Yeah.
Am I going to make it home in my electric, my $80,000 to $90,000 to $100,000 electric vehicle? Am I going to make it home? Meanwhile, I got half a tank. I could drive to Seattle.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, I was looking
mind you, I got a big ass tank, but like,
dude, in my truck, I was looking at when it was at a quarter tank. I looked at my range, and it's like I don't know what the mileage is from here to Seattle, but it's like 250-ish, right? Is that what it is? It's something like about 200.
I'd say
We'll say it's 250. It's I know it's close
less
to
than
that.
3.
It's less than 3.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I have a quarter tank. It's telling me I could drive to Seattle right now.
Yeah.
Am I going to? No, I don't really trust that, but it says I could. Like, that's a long way. I'm just trying to go home. Like, range, baby. Internal combustion.
Yeah.
First time I saw a Rivian, it was getting loaded onto a trailer. So, very good first impression.
The first time I saw Rivian, it was making a left-hand turn from a 2-lane in front of me, and it was actually a pretty cool way to see a Rivian, but it was like...
Getting sideswiped?
No. It almost wrecked, but it was not the side swipe. It was purely the driver's fault. I was sitting there in the OBS, and I had the windows down because I wanted everybody to hear what I was listening to.
And everybody to see you.
Yeah. Just douchebag mentality in that truck. You can't.
Yeah.
Single cab, long bed with a manual,
Hot
douchebag
injectors.
mentality.
Yeah.
Hot. It's basically smoking at idle. Like, fuck you guys, right? And I'm sitting there, and the windows are down. And I hear this, the like tire like breaking loose in front of me. And I see this. The light turned green, and in the outside turn lane, it's like a big intersection. But like in the outside turn lane, turning left across and in front of me is this Rivian, just like screeching tires going through. So they must have it turned green, they pinned it, basically.
Yeah.
Is what I'm assuming. And then I'm looking, I'm like, what the fuck? And they missed the curb, like the wide right-hand side curb by inches, maybe less than inches. Like, I don't even know. But I'm like, God damn it. Rivian are assholes.
Yeah.
Instant, like, congratulations, 1 of 1, you're a dick.
Yeah. One of my goals in life is to watch one of those get hit, like alive. Nobody needs to get hurt.
No, yeah.
Just-
Oh,
Yeah. I wanna see the hit, and then I wanna be that guy that drives by that says, "Hey, you can't park here." Just drive back. Like, that's all I want to do.
I feel like if I was a tow truck driver, like that, all these Rivians or electric vehicles that like can't drive anywhere, you need a charge, I would have to like make them sign a document that says like, I'm getting charged by a diesel electric generator.
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting charged by internal combustion right now.
Yeah.
Or like I would start a whole Instagram or YouTube thing of just like,
Charge another one.
yeah, just with like a head cam. Like,
Yeah.
what do you have the head cam for? Oh, it's for my own safety, or a body camera, like cop, body cam footage. Yeah, man, I just need to sign this form right here. It says, I acknowledge that I'm getting my electric vehicle, which has cobalt in it, mined by not
Slaves.
African Americans, but
Yeah.
just Africans from the Congo,
Yeah.
using wood sticks and whatnot and flip flops. Just demean the living shit out of him, right?
Yeah.
And I'm getting charged by an internal combustion engine here. Yep, just go ahead and sign it, please. Yep.
Yeah. Thank
Just
you.
acknowledge it. Send the bottom. Yep. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. I assume woman, but it's probably a boy named. I said a boy. Ain't a man. It's a boy. Probably named like Jathan or something like that.
I wouldn't assume anybody's gender with that sort of vehicle. You might get yourself in trouble with
I
that.
can assume their fucking stupidity. God, it makes me. I get pissed when I start thinking about that. Yeah.
That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
I started it. Sorry.
Yeah. I don't even know how we got on that topic, but that's
Because
why
I
I love
asked
this
him. I
podcast.
asked him how he felt about electric vehicles, and
Yeah.
I just
Well-
like to hear people hate on them because I don't like them.
I don't either. And I think the conversation is now because the topic for people like us, all of us in here included, including Corey, who doesn't have a mic today because Mark stole it, you dick, is that it's finally becoming more prevalent that people are starting to like, well, has anybody actually checked if batteries are good?
Yeah.
Are batteries less carbon footprint? Because that's what everybody's preaching right now.
Yeah.
And it's finally more of the, not just like, oh, you're a right-wing conspiracy, blah, 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 blah. It's more so like, let's think about it practically. Are batteries better?
Yeah.
Are they? And it's finally not us saying it. It's
Yeah.
people like, maybe in the middle, or people that have maybe bought an electric vehicle and are trying to be, they maybe are trying. Like maybe they were sold on the fact that it is cleaner.
Yeah.
And they're like, is it? I'm like, oh, fuck, it's not.
You should try harder.
Yeah, you should try harder. But going back to the wanting something more analog, I have that same feeling for I have this. I've mentioned it before too, but like I want a Galaxy. I want a full body 4-door Galaxy. I want a manual. I have a feeling I would probably end up LS swapping it, but if I had the time, the money, and the knowledge and the resources, I would like to keep it, big block Ford in there. And I have this image in my head of from like the back window's point of view. I got my kids in the back seat. I'd have to manufacture some sort of car seat mounts for them because obviously those kids back in the day,
They
ain't no
didn't
car
care.
seats, ain't no seatbelts, ain't no nothing.
Yeah.
You just hang.
Hold on.
Are the doors closed? You're good.
Well, I mean, let's face it though. You get in a car accident with like one of those, like
Yeah.
you got to be in a pretty bad one for like anybody to get hurt inside.
Yeah.
Like that's all metal.
Well, if it's
Like
a bad
thick
one,
metal.
we all dead. Especially me. That steering wheel's going through my fucking sternum.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah, yeah,
We've all seen that video. What, red asphalt? Yeah, we've all seen that.
Yeah.
But I have this image in my head of like my son and my daughter, and in the back seat, and my wife in the passenger seat with, and I got a manual, and I want valves fucking kissing. I want the choppiest motherfucking cam I can find, and I want it to be able to drive it normally, but I want to know that when like the foot goes in it, World War III.
I'm gonna tell you right now, you don't want a 4-door. You want a 2-door. The back seat is big enough in a 2-door. You don't need a 4-door,
I
dude.
don't know. I feel
Dude, a 4-door? No. Nobody likes 4-doors.
that's why they're cheaper.
Okay, no, you want a 2-door because the 2-door still has enough like you could sit in the back seat in the 2-door and do this.
I know. I'm sure you could.
You don't need a 4-door.
No. We'll see
2-doors
when the
look
time
way
comes.
cooler, dude.
This project is probably minimum 5 years out. But the
And you don't need no car seats either. Let them back there run around. That's how it used to be. Let them. They're fine. They're fine.
I've seen you.
Let them jump around back there.
I'm just
This is
waiting
why
for
I'm not a dad. This is why I'm not a dad.
in today's day and age, I guarantee you, I probably wouldn't make it out of less than 5 miles from my house before the cops rolled up on me for having those kids.
No
in the back
seatbelts
seat.
back there, man. What do you want me to do?
I
It
got.
came factory, no seatbelts. They're running around. They're doing their thing. They're enjoying life.
I had in the single cab.
Go
I
find a
had
crack dealer.
my son in a car seat in the front seat because there is no back seat in the front
Yeah.
seat, and legally I can have him there.
Yeah.
Okay. There is no back seat. I can have him there. I was still getting like people were like flagging me down.
Let
Like,
them.
you can't do that. You can't do that. And I'm like, the fuck else? You want to put me in the bed? Okay. I'll
Did you
strap
know
my
it's, did
toolbox.
you know it's still legal? I'm pretty sure it's still legal that you could have if you had like your standard cab. If the cab was full, you could have people in the bed of the truck as long as they're sitting with their back against the front of the bed. I'm
Not
pretty sure
here.
that's dude. I'm pretty sure that's legal.
Mm,
I'm pretty sure that's
I don't
legal.
know.
That might be.
I've never
fact
looked it up,
checked.
so I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that is 100% legal. If your cab is full, you could have people in the bed of the truck as long as they're sitting up against basically the cab.
But what if there's too many people to sit against the cab?
then there's too many people in general.
Then
But you
you
could have
shouldn't have
people.
bought a Simco.
But I'm pretty sure, dude. That was like I'm almost. I want to say 83% sure.
All right. I mean, that's a confident number, but
That's
ladies and gentlemen, do not quote Tyler on that.
yeah.
If you're in Washington, don't do that. Okay.
Yeah, don't listen to me about any laws. But anyways,
Shit. Okay.
we've done an hour 20 already.
Well, there's quite a bit of intro that we're not actually probably going to put on here.
Good.
I'll be honest. What's that?
It's going. It's going.
So, if you guys are all wondering, hey Mark, how much talking did we do before we started this podcast?
0.
That's right. I truly had no idea if Mark even had a truck. 0. Like it
I
wasn't.
didn't know.
Me and Mark have done business related emails.
Yeah.
I didn't know he had 4 kids. I mean, I knew he was from Utah. That's where Edge is, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I didn't know how tall you were. I knew you looked good in my hat, though.
Yeah.
Damn right.
I know my head's still cool.
Dude. Oh,
The following 19 states don't have any rules about riding in the bed of a truck. Washington is on that list.
Hell yeah.
they have.
Woo!
So it says they have no rules about riding in the back of a truck.
I think there's rules. In
Don't
other
have
words,
any rules.
you will get in legal trouble for doing so. In Washington, number 16,
Washington.
baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
Iowa, although local ordinances may prohibit it.
Yeah, so you just chill in the bed. Still, I guess.
I mean, that opens up a whole
honestly,
new
I
thing.
was way more specific with
Wow.
what I thought the law was. They're just saying like, hey, no rules.
It's
Just
funny how rules have changed because, like, I know I'm probably preaching to the choir, especially out in Utah. I feel like it's kind of wild country a little bit.
a little more Wild West.
Sort of how is it like that out there? Is it?
Yeah, it is. We still like to enjoy life. And, I think if you're camping or something and you had a bunch of people going up the canyon, they probably wouldn't give you too much grief for doing that,
Yeah.
especially in, some of the more rural, communities.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I imagine up here if I was driving home from like the shooting range or like from the trails up in Stevens County, driving home to my place in like Suncrest,
Yeah.
and the sheriff saw a couple dudes in my bed. First
He'd
off,
probably
he'd be like,
stop
"Why
you.
are bed? Why are dudes in your bed?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen your wife.
Yeah.
Why?"
Yeah.
But they're my friends, so it's
Yeah.
different, right? They're my dogs. They're my homies. We got peanut butter. It's cool.
Yeah. We got peanut butter.
And they'd be like, "Dude, just don't go too fast, okay? You been drinking? No, sir. All right. Have a good night." Meanwhile,
Right.
put a dude in the back of your bed in Spokane, downtown Spokane. You probably, first off, chances are it's a homeless guy. Check
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. Wash yourself. Yeah.
Wash yourself. Yeah. I don't know.
Do you guys got a big homeless problem in Utah? Like in the city? Is it?
I live out in the country, so there's not too much of a problem where I live.
Yeah.
But Salt Lake, it's probably like any big city.
Yeah.
There's a problem, but it's not, probably not as bad
Like
as some
they're
other
not
places.
making like giant camps out of like a park and like parking everybody there with like motorhomes and
And posting YouTube videos.
yeah.
No, not to the same extent.
Okay.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
Must be us, just us.
Yeah, just us.
Just-
So you don't necessarily have to say where exactly you live, but like I'm always interested in like when people that work in places like Utah or Salt Lake City or something like that. Because people obviously, when I tell people I live in Spokane, but I live like almost as far out of Spokane as you can be without being in Spokane. And again, you don't have to say where you live, but like how far are you from like Salt Lake City, say?
I'm about an hour away from Salt Lake City.
Okay.
in Edges is that Ogden?
Yep.
So how far are you away from Ogden?
I'm about 20 minutes from
Okay,
Ogden.
not too bad. Not
All
too
right.
bad.
Is that towards Salt Lake City?
No, I'm the opposite direction. I'm more towards Idaho.
Okay.
So if you're going to Yellowstone, you would pass us.
Okay.
All right. Nice.
Cool.
If you're coming from south to north.
If
If you're going to Moab
yeah.
from here, you would pass us going the other way.
Gotcha.
All right. So any of you genius listeners with that information, someone tell me where Mark lives.
Find his house.
Find his
No,
house.
Don't find his house.
I mean, we
please.
found Shia LaBeouf, his flag or that flag just by the sun pattern. So we can,
Oh, yeah.
we can do whatever we want. All right? Okay, guys. Well, that is about going to wrap this one up. Mark, I greatly appreciate you taking the time to be here and also the shotgun offer. Mark and I have emailed many times. You've heard me mention him on the podcast. Have you heard me mention you on the podcast?
Recently, yes, when you talked about the EZX. So
Yeah, that's right.
Appreciate the shout out.
I appreciate you guys sending that to me and let me install it in the truck and use it. And like I said, I'm a fan. For someone that isn't doing a bunch to their truck, but just wants that little extra power, that little extra kick in the pants, and also have the ability to adjust multiple parameters right off your phone. You can't go wrong. Edge EZX, less than $1,000. Boom, done. Install it. Go on your way.
I'll be honest, you could sell that without the horsepower or throttle sensitivity, just being able to adjust that
100%.
shit. It's still worth it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm 100% serious. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys have much smarter people there working
Yeah.
on this than I do. But
Yeah. Yeah. So we appreciate the hell out of you guys. We love Edge. We'll continue to sell the shit out of your guys' stuff. And yeah, I hope to see some really cool stuff in the future.
any parting words of wisdom, either as Mark from Edge or Mark, father of 4? Because we do have younger listeners out there. And I'm not saying like teenagers, but like maybe like young gentlemen, if you will.
Live life to the fullest. Enjoy every day. Make every day your best day.
Every day your best day.
I like it. I like it.
I like that a lot. All right, guys. We really appreciate all you guys tuning in. If you need any Edge products, make sure and check us out. If you have any questions for Mark, let me know. You can get in the Facebook group, email me, text me. Actually, don't. Those of you that have my phone number, sure, fuck it. Go ahead, text me. I don't give my phone number out very often. So,
Yeah.
but those of you, Facebook message me, Instagram me, email me, whatever. I will hound Mark until I get the best answer I can. Right?
Absolutely. 7.3s are the best.
Fucking A, right?
Yeah. Oh God.
And maybe, do you think Jacob would come on?
I think so.
I think he would too. Like I swear to God, I met him for like 12 seconds. But anyways, maybe we should have Jacob on. We'll just really make Tyler want to blow his brains out.
Oh God, another 7.3 guy. My Lord. Can only take so much.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one.
See ya. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe and check us out at dieselpowerproducts.com.